Okay, in this challenge, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some data preparation for a business intelligence project. Okay, what I'm gonna be using now is Microsoft Excel, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to consolidate the data that we have in these files. Okay, which is the salary information of the finance department, I mean finance unit, legal, marketing, procurement, and sales. Okay, as part of the data exploration, I mean, let's take a look on the data structure that it has. And as we see, we have first name, last name, and the position titles are um, located on the headers, right, on the following columns, right? And as part of the data normalization, we should have one column for the full name, which would be an attribute, right? And then we have the position title in one column, and finally the salaries in one single column. Okay, for later on data analysis. Okay, um, we notice that the other files, they all have the same structure. Let me double click on legal and HR marketing and so on. And yeah, as we saw before, they all have the same structure. Sorry, first name, last name, digital marketing, marketing assistant, and so on. Okay, let's take a look on the other columns. Double click on it, and then we have the position titles and so on. F4, and let's go to this Excel spreadsheet as well. We have the same thing, and this is related to the legal department. Okay, legal department. Okay, and okay, let's start, right? Okay, what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna click on data, get data from file, from folder. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna browse into this uh, folder, right? And I'm gonna hit into challenge because that's the name of the folders that we have in here. Okay, open, and then Excel is, I mean, Power Query is going to connect to the data source. Okay, thank you very much for Leila Garahi for providing us, with this awesome training. And then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna click on transform. Okay, let me show you my screen up here. Okay, very good. And the exercise we will focus on, remaining with these files. Okay, everything that each file that starts or begins with the HR underscore, and so on. So we're going to get rid of the files which text which extension is txt, and this one as well, because I mean this file does not represent the salary of a unit of our organization. Okay, now let's start by clicking, and text filters begins with apply one or more filter conditions to the rows in these tables. It begins with, let me take a look, HR underscore, sorry, HR underscore, click OK again. And then on extension, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to text filter begins uh, with XLS, okay? XLS, okay? We're telling Excel that, it'll be filtering each file that contains this file extension, okay? Click OK. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transform. I'm going to keep on transforming the files. And in order to go ahead with the transformation, I'm going to click on this couple of arrows that are facing down. Okay, I'm going to click in here, and then Power Query is going to keep on doing additional transformation. Before combining the files, it will let me see, what are the type of files that we have in there. As I showed you before, this Excel spreadsheet, they have the data in a worksheet named HR. Okay, I'm gonna click OK, and Power Query is going to continue doing additional transformation. Okay, and this is the final result. Okay, well, it's not actually a final one because we need to do additional transformation, and we notice that Power Query has done not a complete transformation because we need to rename this sector. We're going to be naming them and determining the first attribute, which will be the business unit. Okay, but we're going to do this in this step, okay, in transform sample, because we need to do additional transformation, before the final query is output, right? If we click on the transform sample, that's where we are going to keep on doing additional transformation. I'm going to click on first name and first and last name. I'm going to do right click, and then I'm going to merge columns, okay? And we're going to create one single column that combines with first name and last name, and the separator will be a space, okay, and the name of the new column will be full name. Okay, very good. And now we notice that this additional step is broken, right? And we will not need it anymore because we are doing additional transformation on it. And then as we are able to see, we see that the position titles, which are in the headers, they should not be in that location. Why? Because our business attributes, our attributes of position titles should be one single column. And the values, the salaries should be one additional column somewhere, right? And that column will have a quantitative uh, data type. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna click on full name. I'm gonna do right click and I'm going to unpivot other columns. Okay, this attribute will be renamed as a position title, enter, and this value will be renamed as salary, enter. Okay, salary, enter. And when I click on challenge, the query will be broken, but I'm going to X that out. And there you go. And as you notice, we we have to do additional transformation because this data will be text, like this one. It'll be text as well, and it'll be number, right? Quantitative data type. There we go. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make additional transformation. So I'm going to click on transform and I'm going to extract. What am I going to extract? The data, between the delimiters, okay? Text between the delimiter. Okay, where the first delimiter is going to be, each or underscore, and the end delimiter will be xls x. And I'm going to click OK, and there we go. We have the business units, okay, as such, right? I'm going to click on double click, and what I'm going to do is type down business unit, enter, and then I'm going to click on these columns, and I'm going to ask Power Query to detect the data type, okay? There we go. Now, as we are able to see, Power Query, which is behind of Excel, will allow us, to do the data cleaning, okay? And will define that every single record in the first attribute that will be business unit is text. On the second column, it'll be text. The third column, it'll be text. And finally, the salary column will be number, okay? That is a good feature of the software that make sure that we are performing data cleaning correctly. Then what I'm going to do is click on file and load, and the data will be loaded here in the Excel spreadsheet, ready for its summarization. Okay, ready for its summarization, for its analysis, and so on. Thank you very much.